Hello there, and welcome to another video. Today, today is a big good day, a big and a good day. Last year, the same date on the 26th of December 2020, I created a video called 2020 Discussion, where one night I was just some thoughts on my mind, just talking in my head. And I decided, why not just voice note it? So I voice noted it, listen back, and it wasn't valuable. There was some valuable information. I thought, let's just post it. Let's get it out there. And I thought, let's do this again. Let's go again and see what comes out. So this is raw. This is uncut. Purely my voice, no screen. So you just focus on the words that are being said. But yeah, this is it. 2021 discussion. Today, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I don't know what is going to come about from this, but I hope you enjoy. If you do, be sure to like the video, comment your favorite moment, and subscribe if you're new. Without further ado, let us begin. And there's no intro. Right, so let's do this. 2021. What has been what is just happened in 2021? I'm gonna go to start from January. In January, the UK was in a lockdown. In January, what happened? I essentially, oh boy, I remember in January I got a toothache. This has to be said. Teeth, your body needs to be taken care of all of the time. I should be an advocate of this. I'm the one who's telling people to look after their mind, left, right, and center. But I didn't take care of my body. My body was my tooth. I remember for January, my tooth was in excruciating pain, where I would jump up and down, clap my hands as hard as possible just to, feel the pain somewhere else in my body. It was very, very painful. And that happened in January. And then January was just the beginning of the year. I was setting myself up. I had bought my new planner. I remember the Freedom Mastery Planner, where they call it a manifestation planner. I was thinking, okay, in January, I was on my mindset stuff, like get my mind right, see where I can take the mind and what's capable for the human body. So I'm there and I get this planner and I essentially I'm like, let's see where this can go. So I get the planner and that, speaking now in December 2021, that planner is powerful. That planner has allowed me to continue, has given me a reason to continue throughout all I have done, through all my ventures and whatnot. That plan has really been powerful. So let's continue. I'm just thinking I'm gonna, and also in January actually I oh man, I had a university. Oh goodness gracious, university. It's assessment due. Oh man, January taught me a lot. To look after your body, to get your work done on time, and like the perspective of my life, like how I wanted it to be. So with this assessment now, there was one night. I didn't previously, set up the assessment where there was a draft, there was a plan. I just purely, what did I even do? I just got anything and everything I had done in my notebook, pictures, on a PDF, and put it together. It was nothing there that really, it wasn't my best work, it was rush work. And it's just stuff, it was work to say I just done it. And I stayed up until 6 a.m. I remember, and I hadn't slept well the previous night. So imagine not sleeping well, staying up 6, 7 a.m. because you didn't do the work you meant to do. And that taught me a big lesson. I said from then on, that's a pivotal moment. Those are the pivotal moments we have where we say never again, and you have to mean it within yourself to say never again. Because if you say to yourself, "I'll never do that again," and you slip into it, can you truly trust your words? Can you truly mean what you're saying? And that's a question. Because many times there's other areas in my life where I've had to ask. I've said, I'll never do that again. I'll never be like this again. I'll never say those words again. I'll never do that action again. And I step it back into it. And it makes me question, why did I do that when I know I shouldn't have? What tipped me over the edge to go back to that old way, to be that old person when I'm trying to change, when I'm trying to become better? What benefit does that have for me? And this time with this university incident, I just I stood my ground with myself. The same way you're able to stand ground with yourself. The same way you put boundaries or put that's the correct word. Boundaries, or just the same way you say yes or no to something is the same way you say yes or no to yourself. To getting this work done, whatever it may be at that certain time, so that in the future, okay, in my case, stayed up until 7 a.m. working, putting things together, putting paragraphs together that didn't correlate well with the way that it could. Setting boundaries, say yes, okay, today, we're gonna get the first paragraph done. Tomorrow, next. Those incremental steps, I've learned that this whole year. Incremental steps is a big thing I've learned this year through all of my work. Not, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll push it back. Incremental steps has been something I've held dear to my heart. It made it the dominant thought within my mind for every action I've taken, and it's paid off. It really has paid off. As I will go through the rest of the year. You'll see how. But man, it's taken 12 months to really understand, and it's taken experience and that's a failure. That's the lesson I've had to learn to get to the point where I can understand that and move on from that and do better. But so can you. But let's continue, So we're going through the list. We're going through January. And then, so we're still in January. In January, I begin to manifest a car. Begin to pray about a car. Because essentially, I've never told anyone the story. I don't think on social media. I got my license. How does it? Well, I got a car, but my mother said the car is not efficient. It's not to the quality it could be, so she said get a new one. And I said okay. I went to get another one, and I practiced driving from January all the way to August, and in August I got my license. But back to the car. So I got the car, and I saw, when you're searching up your car at the garage, such as mine, I got a Toyota Aygo. So I got this Toyota Aygo, and I was like looking, what can I get? What's best here? It's best suited for a first car, nice and small, something nice and simple just to get me started. And I thought, okay, this one, this is what I want. Took a screenshot. I got a screenshot on my phone, and then I just waited, prayed God make this happen. I kept looking at that thing every single day and just see myself driving it, sitting in it, and eventually it came to pass. but it only came through believing, taking action for my license. As I said, we were in the pandemic, or just coming out. In a lockdown, or just coming out. So taking as much action as I could at before I even had the car, the new car. That's what it's about. Because eventually it will come. Eventually it will pay off. What can you do before you become that person? What can you do before you have that money? Do you need to speak better? Do you need to dress up better? Do you need to talk better, have a better attitude towards others? If they disagree with you, do you fight back? Do you understand and try and cooperate? What do you need to do to improve? What areas of your life are you lacking? Are you not sufficient? Are you not efficient? What areas of your life do you struggle in? Is it at work? Is it even getting a job? Is it your mental attitude, your beliefs, your standing your ground earlier as we were talking about? What that analytical process of yourself frees yourself and makes you understand you, know why you do certain actions, knowing why you behave a certain way, talk a certain way, because then you can alter it. If you want to become better, you can leave it the same if you like it, but then you can justify it. People are like, oh, why are you like that? Oh, I do this because, for instance, one thing I reflect on now is when people were in high school. So I'm in university now, second year, and high school, let's say 5 years ago. I'm not too sure. In high school, so a couple years ago, people would always ask, "Oh, Jerry, why are you so kind? Why are you so nice? All of this." And way back then, I already knew nothing is face value. As I said in my other video, I love to keep that in my mind, that nothing is face value, because I was a nice, kind person towards others. Didn't really boast, all of this, just kept it cool and calm quite literally most of the time during school, with friends, because I understood many people, especially teenagers that growing up, there's a lot of comparison. There's a lot of lack of understanding, and there's a lot of selfishness. I saw that. I witnessed that. I saw it in my friends. I saw it, people used to know. I saw it in them. And I think, okay, why is this the case though? What's going on here? Now we're midway through January, and I have streetwear, my old vintage streetwear online Depop shop. Well, I saw some old vintage clothing, and I hit 100 items being sold, and that was an achievement. Something I was very happy about. Something that took quite some time, but it was a nice little achievement I'm adding in there. And during this process of this little win, I did think, it wasn't as it didn't this the achievement, the victory there, that little win, didn't add to the dying of streetwear. If I'm not mistaken, around these times, to add on to the story about streetwear, my old clothing brand, clothing vintage shop, I should say, not brand, I had thought of letting it go. I had thought of closing it down, because I lost the passion, the vision of selling clothes and sourcing them, and just the things I used to do, going to charity shops, finding the best things I could find, wearing it, taking pictures in it, then selling it, and then then I built up to going just to buy and sell. Then I went into warehouses and where they actually sell vintage clothing to get a better source. And I remember one tactic I used to do was I contacted all the charity shops in my where I used to live, like the whole city, and I would say, oh, I'm streetwear, and I would love to take on clothes that doesn't sell. If let me, I'll purchase them for a discounted price or something like that, just to get my hands on clothes. I'll do anything and everything. That passion, that desire, that love for selling, specifically vintage clothing, just was beginning to fade at this time. I didn't notice it as strongly. I didn't realize that's just how my career was ending up. I didn't realize that's how things were becoming. But as I said, we got the 100. We sold 100 items in January. I was very happy. I was very happy with that. But it's not easy, but still, it wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't as if I had done something so good, because I had been doing it for so long. It was like about time for me to also close this down. And then we continue. And in January, also had my first ever experience driving a car. There's something crazy about doing stuff for the first time, whatever it may be, especially adult stuff, you could say. It's stuff that requires a lot more responsibility and has more repercussions behind its actions. There's something crazy about doing. There's something exhilarating and fun about it. That when I was driving my car for the first time, my mother was teaching me. We went to a parking lot and we just found this space. It was, kind of late, so there's no cars about. And, she'd say, what you want to do is lift up the clutch, push the gas a little bit, hold it, and then just let the car go. In my head, I'm thinking, okay, cool. I got this. We can drive this, got the car. We can do this. I'm thinking, you've been wanting to drive ever since you've seen a car with your eyes. You can do this, always had that positive mindset, that belief that anything I want to do, I can do. So this is just another thing that I'm just going to be the case. So the first time I drove, turn on the ignition, put my foot on the clutch all the way down, put my foot on the gas. Oh my goodness, do it so quickly. Oh man, I don't know how many times I stalled. And I'm thinking, what is going on? You say you can do this, you've been wanting to do this, so on and so forth. But what's going on? You can't do it. What's happening? And I just keep thinking, okay, there's something here that needs to balance and mix for the car to move. So I do it slower. Clutch up slowly, pushing the gas slowly, until the point where I got the car to move at least 10 feet, very, very slowly, going around 2, 3, 4, 5 miles per hour walking speed. My foot was staying on the clutch. My I wouldn't put any acceleration, and because I was thinking, okay, how do I do this? I didn't even know how to brake. That you had to put the clutch down first. None of that. So I'm just letting the car go. And I'm going, thinking, oh wow, I'm actually driving. So this is how it's done. But then there'll be times again, switch up, and then we'll stop, start again. It wouldn't click. It wouldn't balance. I wouldn't get the bite point. In other words, I just didn't know what was going on, and it would frustrate me because I had wanted this for so long. But I had to say to myself, stay patient and be faithful. That eventually you will get this. There's no two ways about this. There's not going to be a matter of years you learning for you to understand how to drive. Just right now, you are a beginner. You've never done this in your life, so don't expect the most out of it. And that's one lesson or one thing I saw from this year, that it's one lesson I carried with me throughout this year. That's what I'm trying to say. that because I haven't done it before, I don't expect it to be this certain outcome where you'll be on top. You opening a business today doesn't mean tomorrow you'll have 50,000 in the bank account. You starting the gym today doesn't mean tomorrow you'll come up with the six pack and the abs and the big booty, whatever it may be. You beginning to read a book today doesn't mean tomorrow you have all the knowledge of the world. There's a process and understanding that you have to do within the journey, within the process of it, for you to get to the place where you have the £50,000, for you to build the muscle, for you to learn more, being more knowledgeable and understanding of whatever you're reading about. That's one big thing I learned through driving. I wasn't driving purely. I was learning more. How do I overcome adversity when I'm physically unable to drive? I'm so determined. I want to make this happen so bad. I've been dreaming of this. I've been thinking of this. What do they do in films when they got a scene on the highway, the sun is set, the music is blasting? I've been wanting to live that moment for so long. But I can't. What's going on? I finally get the opportunity to even drive just in this parking lot and I can't do it. I was thinking that experience taught me how much patience do you really have? How willing are you to stop practicing when you get really frustrated and then start a new day? Start a new day correctly. Have you even? I had to ask myself. Have you even gone beyond practical essence of driving? Have you gone onto YouTube to try and see if there's teachers? We live in the world with this internet. Why wouldn't you? Have you gone onto the internet, ask how to drive UK? How do you drive a car manually? How do you drive a manual car? All these little things that could be done, I didn't do. I didn't think anything of it because I thought, just because I got the determination, just because I got the will, that's what will carry me through, and I was wrong. Very wrong. But that taught me to take intuition, to take charge of further learning, further doing more than just essentially is what expected. It's doing more than instead of me just driving the car. Okay, how does the clutch work? How does the steering wheel, what affects the steering wheel in these conditions? If I hold the steering wheel in one certain way, how does that affect me if I'm going to turn left or right? Those are the minuscule details that allow you to drive, like the films, with the sunset, the music blasting. Not blasting, but that's what it's about. And I reflect that moment into every single task I do for the first time. And I'm going the end of January. It's Nancy's birthday. Happy, previous birthday, whatever. Would you say that? I'm going to say that. So then we're in February, beginning of February, my birthday month. And what happens in February? Yeah, oh man. But you gotta remember, guys, during all this time, my tooth was going off. I'm going again about that tooth because the whole of January I was in pain. Whole of February I was in pain. There was episodes, as I said, where my teeth, it's a singular tooth. A singular tooth would cause such excruciating pain. I couldn't do anything for approximately an hour or two, except, on my birthday especially. I remember I was sat there, just crying. No, I was about to cry because the pain was insane. The pain really, really, it hurt a lot. On my birthday, I just sat there in pain because I didn't take care of myself. I didn't even open any of my presents. I was in pain because I didn't take care of myself. This is the thing on top of this. On top of this. This tooth had been hurting, not too much, but a little bit, months before, but the pain went for a couple months, so I ignored it. I thought, oh yeah, it's all sorted. Not knowing that my tooth was just blocked up with food. The importance of looking after yourself is, if you don't do it now, just wait till it happens. Wait until you got a toothache. That's when you'll do it. But I recommend looking after yourself is the most important thing ever. This is the from that, from the tooth hurting. I learned that this body we have is the only reason we're able to work. It's the only reason we can go out and take pictures. It's the only reason we can go to work, because of our physical body. So if that's not in check, if you have a toothache, if you have whatever it may be, I can't think of many examples right now. Whatever it may be, if you have those, make sure you get them checked out. Make sure you regularly getting appointments to make sure your blood's okay. Make sure your bone marrow's okay. After this incident, I've had to write down the health checks on my notes. I've got this new health checks list every year. Dentist, go to dentist. I forgot the numbers right now. Goodness me. Go to the dentist 2 times a year, 4 times a year. Get my bloods checked once a year, or every 6 months. Something else and something else and something else. I love this there's this Chinese, or I forgot, I'm not sure it's Chinese or Asian methodology where they don't go to the doctor once they're sick. They go to the doctors to prevent the sickness. That is like, wow. Why have I never been told that? Why have I never been shown that way of thinking, that way of being? And it makes sense. There's a lot of elderly Chinese people, because they understand the body needs to be looked after whilst it's well. If you look after the body whilst it's well, it will thank you. It will make you fruitful. It will allow you to work harder, stronger, better, quicker, more efficiently, because it's being looked after. But let's continue. What happened next during the year? It seems as if I'm just going to keep talking about the year and bringing stories about from lessons I've learned during the year to pass on to you guys. And it only makes things, it's only right. As last year I had thoughts coming through my mind, because it was 3 a.m. I was just up one night thinking, but today it's actually 9 p.m. Still, time before bed, and I'm just as if I'm having a conversation. So, how's your year been? This happened, and that's what I'm doing to you guys. I like it. I hope you guys know. I hope you actually, because I speak to one but affect millions. I hope you are benefiting from this. It's a bit of fun, it's a bit of seriousness. It's a mix, just so you can reflect on your own year. Reflect on everything you've done and not done. What happened and what didn't happen. Let's continue, let's keep it going. So through February, as I said, my birthday month, wasn't bad pain. But as I said earlier, I had begun to use my planner. As I said, they call it the manifestation planner. And this was my first time ever, once again. I've done a lot of things already. 2 months in, doing a lot of new things. But this is the first time ever that's not the first time ever. In high school, they give you a planner. But the way the planner is, this is crazy. This is all coming to me now. So in high school, they gave me a planner. They give every student a planner every single year to keep track of, meetings, appointments, homeworks, so on and so forth. And within my specific planner was Bible quotes, because I went to a Catholic high school. And then there was also stuff to do with information about the school. And then there was stuff about formulas for maths. There was also stuff along those lines, stuff to do with school and what you learn. There was never anything above that, because it is for to keep plan and keep track of what's going on. So it wasn't my first time using a planner. Now I think about it, but with this planner now, there's something about you personally taking action upon something. Of course, in high school, as I said, we were given these planners. Here you go, use these planners to track your homework, to write down if you've got detentions, whatever it may be. Or to give your teacher to give you detention, I should say. You were given them. Use it. Do this with it. And there was never, I don't remember once, 5 years at high school, a teacher saying, this is what the planner's for. But then, 2 years after high school, I'm in starting university. No, was I in university? I think I was. Yeah, I was already in university. Oh my days. Yeah, beginning university. That's it. 5 months into university, I had already begun my mindset journey. Developing my mind, personal growth journey. But I had bought my own planner for 2021, and with it, am I even saying this correct? Yeah, 2021. I thought it was 2022 already. Goodness gracious! So I'd bought this mindset planner for 2021, and that instantly flipped how I viewed it, because I saw value within it, and it makes me think about us as human beings. Until there's a price tag, it means something. If it's free, there's something behind it. And it seems as if the bigger the price tag, the more value, the more beneficial it is for you or to you. And look at that. Look at luxury look at luxury pieces of clothing. Louis Vuitton, Gucci, the highest price tags. And apparently the people who have the money to purchase them have that high value as well. But you answer this question. Is that always the case? Is that truly the case? Yeah. You answer that with your own opinion. But it's something about purchasing it. So I purchased this planner, and I use it properly now in February, end of February, to plan the month of March. Planning. And I plan it to the T. There's something I don't know what it is about writing, okay, I'm gonna do this, then this, then this, then this, then this, without realizing one day you might feel off with my toothache. One day, you might have to go to groceries and spend 2 hours, and there might be traffic. There's so many variables. So to be flexible was not understood yet. So I planned it to the T. I planned the month of March now, because we're ending February, going into March. I planned it to the T. And I love this planner because it has, the main goal. And I wrote this down: take action daily, no stone left unturned. And I was like, okay, let's get, I'm trying to pump myself up, get ready for this new month. I forgot to say, my tooth got taken out at the end of February. Oh, we praise God, because that needed to happen. So I'm feeling good. My tooth is getting better. About to use my planner to plan my month. Really begin this journey. I write this goal, and then there's always a reward you give yourself if you complete the month. Complete the goal of the month. And I put God will provide the reward. I wasn't too fussed with what I get. Then there's 3 desired goals. And one was to complete a course, sign clients, and then have 500 TikTok followers. And then I sat back. I remember this very clearly. I sat back and I looked. Every single day I had written what I had to do. For instance, on Monday, I had it written down here. I had post on social media, rotation for streetwear, which is a method I would market. I had a university, and then I had to find 10 prospects. Every single Monday I would do that. Every single Tuesday was university, reach those 10 prospects and do the course. Wednesday, post on social media, rotation, follow up. Thursday, uni, learn script, Google. And I was setting myself up essentially to think I can just work, do this, done, do this, done. And get somewhere. Mistakenly not understanding myself fully, but through this, I got to understand myself. I got to realize that planning each day like that without the intention behind it, there was just not that period. There was not the thought process of, we're doing this to reach this goal. This was just done. All the stuff I would do was done because that's just what I used to do. And there wasn't that true belief of what I'm doing. There was no conviction. There was no power within it, which then led me on to just not getting it done. I would either not do a task, which would bring me down. Oh, why not doing it, man? Come on, just do it. Bring down my morale. Or I'll do the task and it just wouldn't flow. It wouldn't be easy, as things, most of the time should be if it's made for you. I just didn't understand that. But in March, planning March, it was the beginning of understanding and organizing myself, which are something I'm very grateful for. Something that I look back now and I can do much better. I can 12 months later, 10 months later now, I'm able to plan, organize, and strategize appropriately. Not to just get complete tasks, not do this, but doing stuff that actually needs to be done. All of that stuff that was done there to, what did I write? Post, follow up, posts, research, uni. It was not compelling enough it wasn't compelling enough for me to do it. Ever. And that's why I never got done. There was no why. That was the case. So then we're going into March. I begin skincare as well. My skincare routine. Shout out to Nancy for, helping me there. So I begin skincare, begin looking after myself, developing myself, growing myself even more. And I'm at university still. But now, in March, 4 weeks later, going back to the driving, I began to drive on a main, in the street. Of course, I have my mother, by my side because I don't have I didn't have the license, but I put the L plates and because she's old enough and drove for a certain amount of years, I was able to drive the car. So this is when experience came in key. So for March, remember this, March. So I got the car February, right? January to February time. Stalling like crazy, didn't know how to drive, but then kept practicing, kept learning, doing those extra little things, going on YouTube, finding, there was one guy, if you are watching, in the UK, well, one guy you can search up is Conquer Driving UK. The guy's Richard F. He's incredible instructor, virtual instructor. And being virtual, he puts the way he conveys the message and way he explains the process. Top, one of the best teachers of his master of his craft ever. So that's one guy to check out. But in March, begin driving in the streets, and I drove my first journey because I'm actually able to control the clutch. I know how to stop a car, how to start a car, hill start assist, all of this, And I go with my mum around to the city centre, just in the middle of the city, just driving. I'm thinking, wow, I'm actually doing it. Took a couple of weeks, took a couple of hours of learning, but I've never looked at it like that. I've just always seen it as you're doing it. This is something you've always wanted to do. You're actually doing it. The process, the me doing the research, me doing the learning, watching the videos, so on and so forth. Sitting in the car, imagining, okay. So I remember this clearly. Before I could drive, I would just sit in the car, pushing down the clutch, really fast, because that's when push the clutch down hard when you're about to change gear, then slowly bring it up. Continuously doing that. Oh, of course, I wouldn't do it too much because I didn't want to ruin my car, but to the extent where I understand how the clutch feels under my feet, how pedals feel under my feet, because it's a new experience. It's this stuff because it's new. It's a new experience. This is stuff you don't usually do. You don't always, when you're growing up, have the ability to feel the pedals because you're a passenger. You enjoy the ride, but now I'm the driver. I got to learn these new methods. I have to learn how to be a driver. That's what it's about. And I'm also learn, the mirrors. I got to check now. Focus on the mirrors. I got to check on my surroundings so much more than just a passenger. But back to the point. I'm learning. I'm actually driving the streets, and it was incredible. Oh boy, it felt good. I felt like I was a driver already. I wanted my test. I wanted it all to happen just now. But I believe, the lockdown. We were in a very busy time in the UK. I don't know if it was a lockdown or we're coming out of lockdown, so getting lessons now, that was a struggle. One of the biggest struggles. But I wasn't too bothered because as long as I was practicing, I knew the time the lessons come, I'll be sorted. But let's continue. Going through March, driving. Then I remember I went to a McDonald's. There's a special McDonald's where I used to live. That there's a hill. Oh man, I won't forget this. Only if I could. Let me try and put this image in your head. So close your eyes for a second, and imagine you're the passenger, and you got your McDonald's on your right. Any McDonald's building that you've been to, imagine it on your right hand side, out the window on the right side. And then on your left, you got the McDonald's car park, right? So then you're the passenger of the driver. Imagine him. You can pick any driver you like, your mother, your father, your friends, whoever it may be. That person drives up to the main road, to the main road, where there's cars going both left. So coming from the right, going to the left, and going from the left to the right. And you are, I believe it's perpendicular to these cars. However, there's a hill, so you gotta see the car. The road lifts up in front of you just a little bit. So now, I won't forget this. I'm there, and I'm about to go up this hill, and there's cars behind me. There's cars coming, going left and right in front of me. And I'm thinking, I'm with my mother, So I'm thinking, shit. This is gonna test what I've been learning. I'm there, and then, the car's going vroom vroom. I'm thinking, okay, breathe, just wait for a moment when it's clear, and you go. So, gear 1, clutch up, and then I put the clutch, and then I put the handbrake up, and I don't put any gas. Right, so you're meant to balance. As I said, I wasn't balancing. So you're meant to balance, and then you can go. But did I know that at that time? No, because all I was thinking about is drive. And I got my mum next to me, the passenger, saying, turn left, we're going left, you're not turning right. And I'm thinking, Mum, I cannot turn left. It's hard, there's too many cars for me to turn left. It's much easier if I just turn right, please. But I'll just go the long way around. I'm thinking this from my head. I got my mum shouting at me. I got the hill to deal with. I got cars behind me beeping at me. And I got the cars in front just going crazy. So the opportunity comes for me to go. Oh my goodness, I don't know. Foot flat to the floor. Clutch up. I won't forget this. Car jumps forward. I'm thinking, fuck, the car's stalled. I'm on the hill. I'm about to roll back. Bang! Foot on the brake. So imagine you just jolt forward. And and in the car behind, I look in the mirror, and I don't know how I didn't hit this car behind me, because I jump forward. The car jumps forward up this hill, then rolls backwards, and the car switched off. I put my foot on the brake and just stopped in the nick of time to not hit the car behind me. And my mom is like, okay. I said go left, you're going left. And I'm like, Mom, okay, give me another chance, give me another chance. So I practice going, balance, Jerry, take your time, relax. And then all of a sudden, just all the noise, all the surroundings, environment, it hit me. I do the same thing again, bah! And I move even further back. I'm thinking, yeah, Mom. My mom was like, no, that's it, get out. So in front of this McDonald's, she opens the door, her passenger door, walks around and said, get out. I open the door, my head pointed down, slouched, upset, frustrated. Just put the handbrake up. I was like, fuck, man, you know, man, like, shit, like, what, like, that is like, that moment, it's like, damn, I was tested, man. Jerry, you know, me saying, man, I'm a driver, I've been wanting to drive, I can do this. I was tested again. The same exact way I was tested when I couldn't balance the clutch and the gas at the beginning. It's the exact same way I've done it now. I was thinking, fuck, I thought I had this under control. I thought I could do this. What's going on? I've been dreaming on this moment. I could, just that determination and grit that I can do this. It just disappeared. And my mum, she's been driving for years. Does it with ease. And then she actually turns left where she wanted to go. And it just frustrated me. I was just staring out the window and thinking, wow. So what, I remember I analysed the situation. I said to myself, what happened there, Jerry? Why were you unable to go up that hill? And I was thinking, okay, that pressure, that indecision, that lack of understanding as well. It scared me, it frightened me. And it took over me to where I couldn't think straight, I couldn't do straight. All I wanted to do was just not be in that environment, that moment. But what could you have done about that, Jerry? Well, I definitely need to do a lot more research. I definitely need to learn about hill starts. And I definitely need to go back there and prove to myself, this is nothing. And only through that did I get back in that car and drive again. Because I could have easily let that moment be like, wow, I'm not ready to drive, man. That car can just sit out there. I'm not going to practice anymore, but I'm not ready. I could have been like that and it's potentially given up there until I found a driving instructor. But something in me just wouldn't let me. I couldn't let one incident determine how the driver I am. The potential I have to drive and get my license. I couldn't let that one incident fail me. It's crazy because right now, in December, right, like as I speak, currently right now, time-wise, I'm actually reading a Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. And the devil, yeah, it's a crazy book. This is one book I would definitely recommend. But Napoleon Hill has an interview with the devil, and the devil explains all his tricks, all his methodology to get in our minds and to find a way to defeat us. And one thing he says is, the devil isn't a person, it isn't a thing, it's energy. And he loves to be the fear in our minds. And one way he gets in our minds is by occupying that unused space. So in that time, in that moment, I've got a lot of space. I've got in my mind. I'm thinking about what am I doing. What my mum's saying, what the cars are doing. I've got all of this unclear thoughts, indecisive thoughts, And on top of that, they become negative. Like they turn into, because I couldn't complete the task. I couldn't go up the hill. They come into wow, you can't drive. You this that. The devil trying to tell me I can't do this. I can't do that. But nah, I couldn't let that be. I had to myself override the thoughts and go back to the drawing board, go back to YouTube, go back to Conquer Driving UK, and research and watch his videos. How does he do it? Okay, look at his feet, taking his time. Okay, listen to what he's saying. You want to feel the bike, you've got to put gas as you feel the bike, but all this stuff. I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I can do this. That time couldn't do it in the past, but now I can do this. I understand this. I can do this. I can do this. Like I just would say, even if the thoughts of I can't, I would say no, I can, overriding them again. Until the point I do believe later on, I've had to face many hills now, and they come very easily. I can overcome them very, go over a hill. I can drive anywhere and everywhere with ease now, but only because I believe that no matter what I face when I drive, the troubles of driving, I can do it. That's one thing I've had to hold very dear to myself. And it's one thing you should. How much, even the devil in this book even says, the people who are successful, the people who do well in this world, they understand that failure is only temporary defeat. The devil knows that, but the devil, what he likes to do to trick you is to play that. Oh no, you failed. You can't do that. Don't ever do that again. What were you thinking? You're embarrassing yourself. That's what he likes to play. That's how he plays his tricks. But how many times are you gonna override that? That's what it's about. And are you going to? Yeah. Are you going to believe you? Are you going to believe that? That's what it's about when you're failing, when you're trying something new, right? When you don't succeed. For me, in this instance, me being unable to drive a hill at McDonald's, up a hill at McDonald's. It's a crazy thing, man. It's a crazy thing. But let's continue. That's what happened in March, eh? What's happening in March? So, when March, continuing. That's beginning of March. And then we're going through mid-March. No, nothing much to happen too much. Nothing much happened in March, actually. Because as I'm looking through my photos to see, get a reference of what's going on. But nothing much happened in March. Oh yes, actually, nearing the end of March, my old social media advertising and creative agency, Earning Media, I got my first meeting. I remember I got my first meeting, and it was an exceptional, very exciting moment, which at the time I didn't think I didn't think anything of. I didn't think like at the time that I just thought, oh, it's just a meeting. Sorry, I did think it. I did think much. I did think much of it, but at the time I just thought, oh, it's just a meeting, But in a positive sense, of course. But I get my first meeting, and man, oh man, I was thinking, all this practice I've been doing for these meetings, the words to say, how to sell the product, how to get them to buy, And it happened. The meeting happened, and I remember during the meeting, at first it was strange because I'd never had a meeting to sell a product to someone before, who I don't know, who I just emailed to say, I can do this for you. But it was something that I felt comfortable in doing, which said to me, Okay, you can do that. You can do that. You can sell. You can talk to anyone. You can do that. That's fine. But what you're doing it for, it, it didn't sit with me. It didn't allow me to express the true person I can be if I were to sit and talk to anybody and everyone or anybody about something. It didn't allow me to. And I thought, no, that can't be me speaking, you know. This is what I've been dreaming to do. I've been wanting to have an agency and selling stuff and making all this money. So I just chucked that thought to the side. And you'll see, let's run in the year. That thought comes right back. But let's continue. Have the meeting nearing the end of March. And then we continue. March ends, I do believe. And I'm still driving. But now I'm going heavy on TikTok actually, yeah. I'm starting TikTok actually. So starting TikTok, another platform I'm on. Trying something new. That was fun. I'm continuing earning media. I'm continuing learning about the mind, growing my mind. And then now in April, I shaved my hair off. Mid-April. Gone fully bald after growing my hair for 4 years. Damn, man. I had not seen I forgot what I looked like with no hair. Because for 4 years growing your hair, that's crazy. I had a huge afro, but shaved it off in mid-April. And my girl done the same. She shaved it with me. But in April, I begin to go deeper within visualization. So, this journey I'm on, as I've been saying, I've been using this planner. Pardon me. I've been using this planner. And this journey I'm on, I continuously I continuously want to discover more and do more for my mind, for my being. And I ask myself, what can I do? What is there that can just get me to my dreams and desires quicker? And I think, okay, I'm doing this. Writing affirmations, visualizing, I'm reading the Bible, I'm praying, taking what I thought was action. It was action, I ain't gonna lie. It was still doing something, but it wasn't purposeful. It wasn't as purposeful as it could be. It wasn't significant as significant as could be. Doing all this stuff. I think, okay, what could I do that's deeper, that's more real, that feels more real? Because that's what we're wanting to get to the point where it feels like you have the £1 million in the bank account. Want to be the person who already dresses like they got the £1 million, who acts like they have the £1 million. That's what we're trying to get to. So then I begin to get all my bank accounts and put the figure I want to see in my account. And I sat and I edited it. So I took a screenshot and edited it with the number. And I sat there and I was thinking, wow. You know, this numbers, if I actually think about it now, so I done this in April, but now thinking about it in December, right? If I think about it now, this number is easily attainable. It's almost as if I've set myself the mediocre. Okay, I'll be happy if I, got here, but can I not get more? Can I not push myself further? But still, it's still a challenge to get to the number, but it seems as if much more you can do. And this is the mindset I've attained. Is this it? As I've been watching recently, Rick Ross has been I've been watching Rick Ross's interviews, and he says we're trying to do something that's never been done. It's not just about the figures, but something that will last in eternity. I'm thinking, wow. That's what just opened my mind to another level of thinking, another level of being. At the beginning, It makes sense. It's wise. It's no. You should take it slow. You should be increment. No. Let me say this. At the beginning, you should set goals. That's well, what I would use smart goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and then given in a given time frame at 100%. But once you progress, once you grow from that, you begin to set harder goals, bigger goals, stuff that the person you were at the beginning thought were unachievable. That's what I've tried. That's what I'm understanding, and that's what I continue to do. And that's something you can continue to do. If you're starting right now, start very small. Like with the car I got very small. But soon I hope to. Well, I know soon I will upgrade into a bigger car, better car, faster car, bigger engine, whatever it may be. But when you're starting as a baby, you're feeding them food. You start with them. You start giving them milk. Then you move on to flavorful foods and then solids. There's steps to it, and soon that baby turns into an adult buying 2 Big Macs, 4 large fries, so on and so forth. But that only happened because they started with milk. The small is the most tangible and thing that's made for them at that time. That's a big thing. There's certain times in your life that you will get what you want. There's no two ways. I heavily believe this. There's no two ways you will get what you desire. £1 million, a mansion, a wife, the MacBook Pro. I wanted a MacBook Pro for the whole of my high school years. I wanted a MacBook Pro. 7 years later, after just dreaming, going to the Apple store, just doing whatever I could just to feel like I have a MacBook. After 7 years, I finally got it. There's no two ways you will get whatever you want. But there's a time for it. Now, the human being never knows the time for it. Never knows the time of anything, essentially. Of course, I say that statement not in the sense of, okay, you have work from 9 to 5. No. You know that you have to be at work 9 to 5. But the time for attainment, or the time for what's another word? The time to achieve, or yes, the time for attainment, or the time of achieving this thing. Nobody knows the time when it will happen. But that thing will come to you when it's the correct time. You will always lead, what's that law of attraction? You think you attract what you think about, what you hold dear to your heart, the dominant thought in your mind. But that only happens if you're going towards it as well. You have to attract it, and then it will attract you. And then at that perfect time, it will come through. And that's what the process is. That's what the battle is. You're fighting. Is this worth it? Is this going to get anywhere? You have to believe it is. And keep believing. And keep believing beyond that. Like with me in my car. Am I actually going to get this license? Am I going to be able to drive? I have to keep believing I can. And keep believing that that hill's not going to stop me. Because there's resilience behind it. The more resilient you are, the more you'll keep going for it. But if you know the inside that yes, that feeling of this is it, this is good, this is correct, this is what is made for me. However you speak to yourself, if you keep going for it, it will come when it needs to come. Trust me. There's a timing behind it. There's a reason. I don't know the reason why, but no. I think about it, the reason why there's specific timings behind what we attain and what we achieve is because we're just not ready at the beginning. We're just not ready for what we think we want. truly, it doesn't make sense. This world, yeah, no. This world would be too easy, or this life would be too easy if we say, you know what, I really want this Range Rover, man, and then somehow, and then God just parks a Range Rover out your car and drops the keys at your door. This world would be too easy. And that would never build up resilience. That would never build up strength. And relating that to the gym, it would be too easy to say, I just want a six-pack, I want big muscles, I want to lose this weight, whatever it may be. But that would never build up the resilience, the strength, the conditioning in your mind to say, if I continuously, persistently work at the gym, working out, lifting and resting, lifting and resting, that will come to me. That's what is needed in order to attain. Without that principle of consistency and persistence, you won't attain. And you have to essentially prove to yourself you're worthy and able to attain it. And once there's an actual real belief, not the belief in the beginning where you're like, I'm going to do it, I'm going to make it happen, but where you prove it and do make it happen, that's when it comes to you. That's when it comes to you. Show up. Do what you have to do. Work if you have to work. Make the money you have to make. Sell. Do what you have to do in order to get closer to what you like in your life. Working your job. Going to university. Taking action on your daily plans. But still, know that eventually, when the time is correct, it will come to pass. It may take years. It may take years. It may take months. It may take weeks. Whatever it may be. The more you hold it dear to your heart and your mind that it's coming. Just a matter of time. It's just coming. Even if you go insane, like, it's not coming. No, it's coming. You always override that mind with what you truly want. You're in control of your mind. You're in control of your emotions, your feelings. So be in control of what you think about, what your dominant thoughts are about. Be in control of your life. Be in control of who you want in your life, what you want in your life. You only learn this through knowing what you don't want. I want this, that. Okay, well, how do I get there? I gotta do this, that. Anything else, you're gone. Wow. That's April. Goodness, right, that's April. And still driving, still learning. I should begin to join webinars for earning media. And this is crazy. So yeah, I got another thing here. So in April, and we're nearing the end of April. As I said with earning media at the beginning, I had my first meeting after a year. Was it a year learning? I think a year learning. The agency and Facebook, learning about business, learning about agencies, learning about advertising and creative agency, how to make one, how to build one, how to scale one, all of that. After that, after the meeting, I began to take further steps into building my business. This is crazy. I have people like Jeremy Clarkson. This guy's been presenting cars for years, and he's still presenting cars at his old his older age. But why? How? And then there's many other examples. There's people who've been doing stuff for years, and people still watch them and are entertained by them because they just do something well, do something good. They're a master at what they do. I'm thinking, okay, what do I do for earning media? Because I have the belief that earning media is made for me. I'm made for it. And I begin to join. I begin to join a newsletter about everything about the agency world, everything about marketing, everything about the creative side of an advertising agency. I'm thinking, wow. Every week it sends me a newsletter of what's happening in the world, new updates, infographics. I'm thinking, goodness me, my mind is, I'm expanding in knowledge through this one task. And then later on, I think it was literally a week or two later, I'm watching Jeremy Clarkson, the farm show. Oh no, was it a week or two? Whenever. I've forgotten when I watched it, but I watched Jeremy Clarkson, the farm show. And then one of his episodes, he's sitting there reading. He's sitting there reading a farm book because he's becoming a farmer. That's the essence of the show. But he says this. There was a time where I used to read. I forgot what magazine it was, but he said he used to read a weekly magazine on cars and everything to do with the new cars. I'm thinking, wow. So that's how they do it. They're actually studying the game they're in consistently, even at the level they're at. Jerry, you've never done that. What? You have. That's something that is. Yeah, you have to start doing this. But and it just reinforced the fact that me joining this newsletter is priceless. This will catapult earning media. That's what my thinking was. That even people at the highest level are still learning the game. They're still developing their qualities. They're still improving their knowledge. They're still researching, still learning. And we think they've made it. They haven't. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. I'm started now. What do we think we have accomplished in comparison to what they think they have accomplished, and they're still learning? There should never be a time you stop learning your craft. There should never be a time you stop influence your mind about what you do. For instance, I was given the example of how I want to know more about the marketing and agency world. So what I do, I join this newsletter which sends weekly emails about everything to do with it. I'm thinking, wow, okay. In these newsletters, they would give links to other agencies, which then, I would look at that and be like, oh, they're doing this. And then that would give, it just keeps growing and growing. And learning that early on in the year has helped me tons. I understand that it's powerful. It is powerful to continuously learn. It is mandatory to continuously learn. If you're not continuously learning, you're dying. If you're not growing, you're dying. Bob Proctor told. Was it Bob? It was either Bob Proctor or Napoleon Hill. Shame. I've forgotten now. But they said, if it's not growing, it's dying. I was thinking, damn. If it's not growing, it's dying. My God. What? How is that true? If your mind is not growing, it's dying. Grow it, put stuff within it, learn more, okay. I'm really just emphasizing the power of learning, continual learning. In your niche, things based around your niche, things based around what you do. If you're a waiter, how can you become a better waiter? Tips and tricks how to carry more bottles, tips and tricks how to carry more plates. These things will eventually get recognized. Even if you feel as if the boss manager will never see it, trust me, they do. If they don't see it, customers do. One thing I really on that note of waitressing, I used to work in the Wetherspoons, which is a famous UK pub. It's all over the UK. 100+ pubs all over the UK. This franchise is quite incredible actually. What the guy does with his business wise. Um, yes. So I used to work there, and I worked there for a year before the pandemic. I quit before the pandemic, literally a month before. I remember. So this was February 2019 to February 2002. 2020. 2020. Oh goodness, that's yeah, that's crazy. So yes, during my time there, as I said, I was learning to develop myself, personal development, my mind, creating a growth mindset, this, that. So I'm reading books, I'm learning stuff. And then Napoleon Hill says, I forgot the exact wording now. Oh no. But it's along the lines of work more than you're expected to. And I'm thinking, oh my days. Because this is something I had thought about. This is actually, I remember in high school times. So I'm still a teenager. Younger teenager time, I was thinking, there's something about doing more. There's just something about doing more that seems to be so profound. I'm seeing all these A students, bro. How do these A students get an A? And I'm out here getting C's and stuff. I'm thinking, they must be doing something. So obviously I'm with my old friends, and of course they're mostly boys, so we're just just chill as our group. And I'm thinking, these guys are. I don't think I ever asked, but these guys in my brain, I'm analyzing them. In class, these guys are focused. These guys are attentive, and they're here. They're in the class. The other ones who are not focused, the other ones who are less attentive, the results of the grades showed it. I'm thinking, wow. But how do they do it? When they get home, what happens? And that's one thing I never, at the time, me being a younger teenager, I never had the courage to ask or to go about researching, because at that time there wasn't that confidence in what my beliefs and what I'm doing. But now I look back, I'm thinking, those guys always done more. Who got those A's? Those guys were reading more books. Were reading books about the subject we're learning that the teacher didn't even recommend. Those guys would actually sit in the library, take time to do their homework, understand it fully, and ask for more homework. Relating it back to the point of the waitressing. Yeah, so a couple years later, I'm now a waiter at Wetherspoon's pub, and I hear the same thing again. Render more service than intended. I'm thinking, wow. I've just been told by I've just been told by a person who's interviewed the most successful people back in that time, that in order to become successful, you have to render more service. So way back, early years of being a teenager, I had the thought, kept in my heart, thought it was quite good. Didn't think anything of it too much. A couple years later, it's reinforced. Now do it. You understand it. You know it's there. You just do it. It's okay, cool. I'm do this. I remember I would do as much as I could with the willpower I had, because I won't say too much about what this means. It's a lovely place, but just continuing with the point. I remember clearly one time I was working, I'm carrying glasses, stacking the glass over my shoulder. So basically, imagine you're holding a glass, right? A glass, and you put another glass inside, and there's like 10 of them, and you're resting it on your shoulders. I'm carrying them. I got plates in my other hand. I put the glasses away in the glass area, and then put the plates in the kitchen to the doors. And then I come out the kitchen, and I don't know if this guy was drunk or what, but he's like, "You, come here." I'm like, "Yeah, so how can I help you, sir?" And he's like, "I've been seeing the work you've been doing. Smile, smile everywhere, you look like you're loving your job." I'm thinking, it's good. It's not too bad. I'm enjoying it. and says, you know what, take this little tip. I'm thinking, oh, okay. And the tip was only £3. You know, it was nothing crazy. But what did it do? It reinforced the fact that rendering more work than you are intended has its fruits. It has its rewards. Now imagine if I worked at a high-end restaurant, £100 tips, left, right, and centre, because I would just do more than is what is expected. I would always, and that's one thing I've had to, I continuously learn, continuously hold. Do more than what is always expected. I recently, well, this is gonna ruin the the way I've been talking about the year, but later down the year, I went to a staycation with my friends. I planned it, and I was thinking, what is more? What in this sense? What can I do more than what they expect? So I think, let me see my film camera. You know, just taking pictures. They'll be like, and I know they'll see it as me just taking pictures. But what do I do after that? Because it's film, you get pictures developed, you get them printed in physical version. I get those pictures printed. I've got a friend who works in the film photography, so I get the little discount. Thank you, Demi. So I get that sorted, and what happens next? I send them all out. Everyone gets a picture of themselves. I made sure I took a picture of every single person in a good, somewhat good scenario. That's that little bit more to say thank you for coming. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed your time at the staycation we all had together. Always do more than you're rendered to. Always do more than intended. Sorry. Render more service than you intended. I think that's the words. But always doing more. There's power in that. There's such that it's not even about it's hard. It's not even about. It's not for your sake, really. It's what you're remembered for. It's what your brain becomes used to, which then differentiates you from the rest. You become that guy or you become that girl or guy who does more, who just always seems to go above and beyond. And who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want that person on the team? Who wouldn't want that voice in their head? It's that girl or guy motivating you. Who wouldn't want that? Of course, if you want to just be by yourself, you do what you want. You do what you want. But I want a girl or guy on my team who's always doing more, always pushing beyond what they're essentially paid or what their role in my life is. That's who I want. Man, that's a powerful thing right there, man. How did I even get to that point? I've forgotten. I've forgotten. Wow, I was just going. But that's the power of it. That's truly the power. Then, now we're in May. In May, guys. In May, God hit me with something, man. God hit me with his plan. And by the time this is out, it will come out a week later, actually. I do believe. But by the time, I don't even know, when you're listening to this, I don't know when you're listening to this. It could be when it comes out, it could be weeks later, a year later, whenever it may be. There's, watch the next video. Yeah. God hit me with that plan to create that. Just watch that. And then come back and then comment that you came from this video. Because in May, God hit me with something profound. And the fact that it came in May and it's only coming out in December, it needed to grow. It needed the seed. It needed to germinate. It needed to just find its roots. It needed to. Whew, if you've watched it, you will understand. So watch it after this video. But yeah, that happened in May, and then What also continue? Oh, and also this happened in May. I wrote this down in my planner. So, of course, as I said earlier, I had done the visualization of me wanting this figure in my bank account, and then I was just thinking about it. I remember I was looking back at the the, the Photoshop I had done essentially on my bank account. I was thinking, and I said this: I've only made X amount so far. I was looking at the logical side to try and get my brain to that point. So I said this: I have only made X so far, and I need to put 30% or 30 times as much more work to reach the figure. But what does it mean? But I can't do 30 times as much work. So let's do this. Let's work 5 times as much over 6 times. So I'll work 5 times as much / 5% harder over 6 days, and soon enough I'll get there. That's the logical way of me preparing myself to get there. I understood that. Where am I right now? At that time, so what was it? 1st of May, yeah. In May, where was I right now? How much was I making per month? Okay, I'm making this much. Okay, it's alright. Making money, that's good. But I'm trying to get to this number. I'm trying to be big. I'm trying to be better. So how much more work will it take for me to get there? Patrick David told me this. You want to make your first million? What are you making right now? How much more work will you have to do to get to that million? And you think, damn. A million is 333,000 per month. And how much are you making per month? So how much more work do you have to do to get to the 83,000? I think, shit. That's a lot of work. Now put it in perspective. Can you become a millionaire in a year? No. 2? It's okay. It's very possible, but it's very hard. 5? Okay, it's a bit easier. 10? Oh yeah. But it's a much higher chance. So I'm looking at that logically. I'm thinking, okay, cool. If I separate it, if I put 5 times as much work into the things I'm doing at the time, I was doing earning media. I had the streetwear shop as well. If I'm doing that, we got this. And I'm glad Patrick showed me that. But Patrick only showed me that because I was intentional about what I'm learning. Learning the game, learning ways to grow, to get better, to reach my goals quicker. That's what I had to do. And that's what you have to do. This 2021 discussion is just talk about my 2021, but I'm trying to feed you with things to boost you, to motivate you, to pull you out of the rut you're in, to put you in a place where you'll take action tomorrow. You'll be pumped. You'll be pumped because you've listened to my story, you've listened to my trials and triumphs, and you have an idea. Okay, I want this. Jerry said this. Let's take action on this. Let's create this plan. And as this was posted, 2022 is a week or 2 away, or even less. Come on, man. Come on. So yeah. Then I plan. Then I write that. So that's happening 1st of May. Then as we continue 1st of May, go back into modeling a bit. As I said, I had no hair, cut off of my hair, so I had to get my modeling pictures. You know how it is. Shout out. No shout out, was it? Big up. Nah. Thank you, Sandra Reynolds, of course, for that. Beautiful pictures. But then actually, yeah, this is interesting. This is the only time I'll be so transparent. Damn, man. But May, now, I've actually invested into crypto. So now we're almost halfway through, man. And as I said before, I questioned, okay, what does Jeremy Clarkson do to be still such a great presenter at his old age? He's been doing it for years, and he's still going. So I joined this mastermind, Bob Proctor's webinar, or like weekend, 4-day webinar weekend thing. I forgot the specifics of the name. But this just grew my mind. Yes, grew and blew my mind. He's saying stuff about paradise. I know most of the stuff. I have an understanding of it. But hearing it again and learning from a different perspective, it grows you. It builds you. I'm thinking, wow. There's something about this mind thing I'm in love with. This game, I've been studying it, I've been learning it, I've been implementing it into my life. For almost, I don't know how many years. I wish I knew the day I realized I love the mind and the mindset. I wish I knew, because I know it's been for a very long time. In my own head, I've been obsessed with how the mind thinks, our human behavior, our human nature. It's been a very long time, but I just don't know how long. So I say for years. So he's talking, he's saying all this stuff, and it is powerful. He's talking about perception. He says this. Look at the areas of your life. Your paradigm has enormous influence over your ability to earn money, your perception, your use of time, your creativity, your effectiveness, your productivity, and your logic. Your paradigm. The paradigm being he defines paradigm as this. Paradigm is a mental program that has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior, and almost all of our behavior is habitual. The things you do, the being you are, your paradigm, the way you, your habitual behavior has control, affects how you make money, affects how you look at things, affects the use of time, the creativity, your effectiveness, your productivity, and your logic. And this is expanding my mind continuously. I'm learning more. I want to build on beyond this. I want to go further. And I do. I watch the rest of the days, and I continue to think, right, what else is there? What else can help me? What else can push me further on my journey? And I continue. So we go to now 18th of May. We're in still almost mid-May. I'm still learning, still driving with the provisional license. And then I get my first earning media client. Now remember what I told you at the beginning with earning media, I was losing my interest in it. Earning media and I were losing love. But I get my first client, and this time I was over the moon, because I thought this was the solidifier in me creating wealth, in me becoming a business success. Because it seems like it, right? I get my first meeting. I learn more. I do the things I need to do to essentially grow my business, to grow earning media. And now I got my first client. That's it. But it just wasn't. Still, I had those thoughts, premonitions about this is gonna go. This is not it. I just put them aside though, because I just wanted to believe this was it. I didn't want to let go. didn't want to let go of what I knew and what I was comfortable with. And that's a hindering factor. That's a hindering. It's human nature. It's only makes sense to hold on to what we like and what we're used to, isn't it? Keeps us safe, it keeps us warm, it keeps us comfortable. But for stuff that's unfulfilling, stuff that's draining and hard work to the point where it does, as I said, drain you, is that made for you? I will never know your current position in life unless you talk to me, add me on Instagram, and we talk. Or I'll never know or understand your true intentions, what your heart feels, what your mind feels about what you want in life, about where you want to go. But you do. You know what you want. You know what you like and what you don't like. You understand that. So you make the decision. You become the authoritative voice in your head. You follow the path that seems fitting. Even if none of your family members have never done it. Even if none of your friends are doing it. There's someone out there that does it. You got the whole of social media to look through. Just typing it in. I promise you there's one more. Even if there's nobody doing it, on top of that, you become that one person doing it. Try it. If you fail, you fail. If you succeed, you succeed. You're still living, you're still breathing. It's still bigger. It's an array of opportunities for you to go, for you to do other things in this world. Don't forget that. For my first client, it was incredible. I just had to make a logo. And there was let me count. 1, 2, 5, 8, 11. I think there's about 15 variations until we got to the final thing, but it was my first time, a lot of, creating, not first time creating a logo, but first time having a client and having to serve, and it was fun. It was a good process because I like to be creative, I like to design, and we got there in the end. But we continue through May. In May, I began my beard. End of May, we're here now. We began my beard journey, which is really good. And I'm trying to improve my appearance, which is key. Yes, improving your appearance, finding your style, finding your uniqueness in how you look, whether it's with hair, whether it's with your face, whether it's with clothing. Find it. Try skinny jeans, try baggy jeans, try joggers, try skinny joggers, try really baggy joggers, try skin tight tops, whatever, and everything, and whatever there is, give it a test, mix and match. There's plenty of influencers, fashion influencers on Instagram, on Pinterest, on YouTube. We can always guide you, but find it. What colours do you like? What colours don't you like? And with the colours you like, can you mix with it? Can you add more? Can you take away? Can you wear it as just one colour? So many variations to style and fashion that there's never an ending list of the ways and combinations you can make with the clothes you have right now. But that's a powerful thing. It's a very powerful thing. Appearance. It's how we perceive one another, isn't it? Where a way a certain person looks is the way you look at them. You think about them in that certain way. Prejudging. Just because of the way they look. So if you do that for someone else, do you not think people do it to you? And if people do it to you, would you not want to benefit from that? Would you not want to almost make the association they have with how you look positive? Well, somewhat positive. Of course, we cannot please everybody, but better than a negative one. Just asking. This is stuff to think about. This is stuff to question yourself about. I know you find the answers. And I know you've answered them. Wow. And then that's it. So in May, finish May and then in June. And halfway in June, I shut down Identify and Streetwear. Shut it down. Identify would be running. Identify, if you don't know, was a creative community I made. So it was an Instagram page, a creative community where we had musicians, painters, photographers, videographers, fashion designers, graphic designers, just really anything creative, and would post them, post their work, post the new members. And man, oh man, especially I started it in the place that I grew up. I lived. That's where it began. And because I knew so many people already, it just expanded. We had 100+ members, and it was growing. But I stopped it. And I stopped it because I just didn't have time for it. I couldn't take it to where it could have gone. Could I have given it off to someone? Possibly. Did I know anyone? No. But it made me learn a lot about creating a community. I'd done it to give others a voice. And I'd done it because I just enjoyed making and doing something, whatever it may be. Did I even know most of the people most of the members? No. But they knew someone who was a part of it, and they knew someone it just helped grow. I loved it. I got a friend of mine to join as a social media manager to post for me. But I just thought, it's had its time. I only done it for a year or so, I believe. But I learned so much from it. And then I closed down Streetwear, my vintage clothing shop, online shop. And as I said, I've been doing it for years. And I think back now, that was a tough one, closing with Streetwear. Because I loved it. I love clothing, I love fashion, but it had to go. It had its time and place, it had its time in my life. But having inventory and then having university, it just wouldn't balance. It wasn't working. I couldn't make it work to the way I wanted it to. But I do, even now I think about it. Would I bring back things I've done before? I don't think so. As much as I enjoyed it, as much as I loved it, as much as other people enjoyed it as well as myself, I don't think so. Things should die in peace. Things should be left in peace. Because that's, in that time frame, that's when it was meant to be alive. That's when it was meant to thrive and have its moment. So I let them go. After much deliberation, for the whole of the year I was thinking about it, and then we're in June, and I decided to let those two go. But then I also begin to join another mastermind webinar of Bob Proctor. I increase my, what's it called? I start to take more pictures of myself. I start to I would start to learn more about the mind continuously. I'm going through, and then that was June. Then we're in July. And this is summertime, isn't it? So I began something, even better. I began to speech practice. I began to learn how to speak better. I hope it's coming through on the microphone. I'm sure it is, but it is 10 p.m. when I'm creating this, so It's been quite a busy day. But then I began to learn about family. I begin the foundations of new things I haven't learned. Well, my name. What does your name mean? What does your family's name mean? Where did it come from? Those are the type of questions I began to do with the other side of my family. And I've done that because I look at it like this. I look at life like this. The things we do right now. Your son, your daughter's gonna look at you and be like, Dad, why did you do that? Why did this happen? Where did this happen? Da, da, da. We have an explanation behind it about your actions, about things you did do and didn't do. And then what is that going to teach them? What is that going to show them? What do you want to leave in their heads? Because remember, those little ones are going to be versions of you. So they're going to have things you think about and do things you possibly have done. But what do you want to make? What do you want to align them to and make them follow? But yeah. Man. So then, what happens? We get a driving test in July. Ah, man, oh man. So think about it. We got the car in January. February, we faced, was it February? We got no, March. March, we faced one of our biggest troubles. And then July, a couple months later, practicing, we get the test. I think the lockdown was lifted and stuff, so we get the test. And guys, I will not forget. This is crazy, man. Now I think about it, this has been a crazy year. I will not forget this. I could not sleep that night. The night before my test was, let me check real quick. My test was 11 a.m. Right. I'm thinking, okay, Jerry, you know what? Day before, sleep early, eat well, make sure this is that. Oh, relax, phones off, so we can sleep. I went to bed at 10. I remember clearly. At 10 o'clock, I was like, okay, cool, we're going to bed. I was praying, pray, thank you for the day, amen. And I would lay there, waiting for sleep to kick in. Sleep, come on, just sleep, please. I need you right now, sleep. And then 2 hours gone. 2 hours, another 2 hours, another 2 hours. I think I slept at 4 a.m. just because my mind was racing. All I think my mind would come up with, the control over my mind, the nerves. Oh, that I felt crazy because, as I told you, for so long I've been wanting this. For so long, been preparing for this moment. But not knowing I had been preparing to drive. I had not been preparing to take a test and do this, that. I've just been preparing to get in the car and drive. So the test element is what threw me off heavily. So that whole night, oh man, my mom was thinking, oh, okay, do you remember this? We have to do this, then this, okay? Remember, speed limit, remember mirrors, remember man. It would just recite everything. I tried to calm it down. I tried to meditate. I tried to get some fresh air. Nothing. 4 a.m. eventually slept. Woke up. And then I went to the test center. And took the test. And guess what happened? I failed. First test, I failed. And I was distraught. just like the hill incident, I was distraught. I was hurt. But once again, just that little flame was in me saying, come on, man. Come on. Pick yourself up. Learn. And then actually I went with my cousin to the test. He took me there. And he said, have you tried to do this, that? And I was thinking, I haven't tried that. And this is the power of talking to other people. And then he sent me to the government website. In the UK, the government website actually teaches you what the examiners base their test on. So I'm like, oh my days. They look at this. There's about 15, 20 things they look at. And then I screenshot all of them. Every single night after that test, a week later after a bit of disappointment, I should say, I took that the screenshots of every single thing they look at. And I learned them by heart. I made sure I knew everything they're looking for inside and out. I didn't care about what they're not looking for, because that's not what I want to focus on. I want to focus on what they're looking for. So make sure I'm doing that. Of course, I'll look at what they're not looking for just to get an idea, but that's at the back of my head. I'm focusing on, for example, signals. You are marked on necessarily ability to use signals when needed to, correctly, and time. So I'm making sure I'm doing it necessarily, correctly, and I'm just being so to the T and intentional with my driving. And this helps me, until this day, reading these notes has helped me become a better driver. But because, as I said, with the timing, because there was a certain time with this, I didn't understand, and I just wanted to test. I just wanted a car. I just wanted to be able to drive, but I couldn't let it happen. God didn't let it happen for a reason. So I went back to the drawing board and just learned more, practicing. And then near the end of July, I had my staycation, as I did describe in my 7 boys. It was 7 boys, 7 girls. That was an incredible time. We were in the forest. Oh man, there's something about spending time with people your age. Time with people you don't even not necessarily don't know, but you know of. There's something about just being in the wilderness as well. Where we were, we went to center parks where it's just you live in a lodge and you're in the middle of a forest, literally. During the day, there's deers walking in. There's deers walking in between your lodges. There's dogs. It's very as if you're in the forest, and there's something about that. Yeah, there's something about that brings peace. It brings calmness. It brings this abundant joy that we had, and it was an incredible time. I recommend it to all of. And then, guys, nobody knows this actually. After the center parks, I bought shoes for £500. I bought Adidas, Prada's, Luna Rosas 21. I believe they're called. And I only bought this to say well done for doing this center parks, arranging it, getting it sorted. But why did I do it? Impulse, emotion, no logic, no reasoning. And what's that? £500 I've just lost in a pair of shoes that are gonna be. Have I even worn them? I bought them in July. It's December, and I haven't taken one picture. I haven't worn them once. Then the thinking behind that. I look at them. I actually look at them, and I think, why are you here? That's £500. Of course, £500 means different things to different people. But from that day on, I keep the picture on my phone to say, what do I value most? With that £500, what could I have bought? I could have probably bought some courses to learn something that can make me £5,000 or 500,000. But you know what I'm saying? What do you value? And how much do you believe in that is the truth about yourself? Because if that comes up, if you see something you like, oh, I really want to buy that, but oh no, I'm getting this, I'm getting that. That's what it's about. But £500 shoes, man. Oh goodness. Let me continue. Going through. July ends. July was a good time, man. But then, I thank God for this one because God showed me a method to get a driving test when there was no driving tests. Basically, where I lived, there was no driving test available because it was just packed, every second, every time I try and book, busy. So what I do, bought all the apps, paid for all the apps, and still they couldn't get a test close to the close date. So it was July, and they were getting tests for the next year, 2022. I was thinking, I'm not doing my test. I'm doing my test now. I'm getting this done now. So I'm thinking, right, okay, what's the next best way? Now the thing is with the UK system, if I book a test in a different city, right, because I couldn't book a test at all. You have to book a test, right, and then you can reschedule the test. So I booked in a different city, and after doing that, when a test was available that I didn't get notified about in the city I lived in, it does it automatically and flips it. So I done that, and what happened? July finishes, and August I get my test, and this time I'm prepared. Mentally, I'm there. Physically, I'm there. I've lost all the nerves from the first time. Knowing what I'm doing inside and out. If there's anything else that I haven't done, I'll be beyond shocked. But I'm so determined to get this correct. I remember it was on the 4th of August. The test is booked. I'll go to the test. I go with my instructor this time, and I use my car. It's not the instructor's car. And from the point he says, and when you're ready to go, when you're ready to set off, begin. Focused. Fully 100% focused. Everything I'd done. Changing the gears, checking the mirrors, speeding up, slowing down, gear, clutch control. Every moment, awareness, observation, I was 100% on it. He asked me, he was the test examiner, was it like, oh, how's your day been? I was like, oh yeah, it's been good, and yours? Bang, that's it, back to focusness. Because I wanted this so bad. I was ready. And guess what happened, boy? We got the test, we passed the test. If I think about it, think where we came from. January, February. Failing, not knowing a thing about it, now we're getting the test in August. Through practice, through determination, through understanding, through belief. Those are powerful traits that you have to hold within yourself to achieve. And it's more than possible. And then we're learning. Then going through August, I'm a happy person. I'm driving left, right, and center. I remember if I got my test a week later, I'm driving in the countryside, not even know where I'm going. I'm just driving because I can drive now. I'm just driving because I deserved it. I made it happen. God allowed me to make it happen, I should say. It was about time it happened. Oh, man. It was a big one. And then in August, I learned about personality type. I recommend you guys check this out. And also I learned about Auto MEQ, Automated Morningness Evenness Questionnaire, to learn what type of person you are and what time is best according to your nature, according to your habits. Those are powerful things. To take advantage of your body, to work in certain times, to rest in certain times. So what's happened is, last night I was recording this and it got really late. I was talking for 2 hours straight and the mind just started to give in. Fatigue, tiredness, as it was late, and as I had been speaking for so long, I just eventually said I have to sleep. I cannot continue because I can't put out the great value, I just can't have a good discussion with you and be tired. It just wouldn't work out well. So I said, tomorrow, let's begin again. Let's go back again. So we're end of August now, and I've forgotten what I said, but end of August, I got my license. I'm pretty sure I did say that. And then we're getting into September, the summertime. And what happened in September? In September, really, I was continuing to learn about the mind, continuing my social media, continuing being with my girl, continuing learning new ways to cook, better ways to cook food on TikTok, and also continued to, well, I then began to take action on something that I'll be this will be out end December. Then in the new year of 2022, I began to take action on something that'll be announced then. In September, in September, it was a month to see that I took notice in that constant thought in my mind to say, why don't you try this? Why don't you do this? Why don't you go down this lane and start this career? Because as I said, I closed down streetwear, closed down Identify, so I wasn't doing too much anymore. I had earning media, but it wasn't. It was only earning media and social media, and then the rest of my life. But I had this other thought. Why don't you try this? Why don't you do this? So I started to look at it in September, and started to research, things about it, just to see if I resonate with it. And I tell you, I did. And when you see when I announce it, if you're watching this before I announce it, you'll see. But if you're watching this after I've announced it, you'll see how it all aligned, its own way. Did I see it coming? Maybe. But there was some intentionality that had to be before I could do anything. So then in September, then I moved into my university dorm, nearing the end of September. And yeah, we're getting to the end of September. And I say to myself, bang, October, here we go. Now there's this thing last year I said I saw on TikTok this 75 hard, where 75 days you're just, well, if you don't know, I should say, you work out twice, once indoors and then once outdoors, 45 minutes, read a book or read a chapter, eat 3 meals, drink a certain amount of water. You do things to become this almost superhuman, this best version of yourself. I think, I like this, but I don't want to just follow. I want to do my own thing. That's gonna obviously help me on my journey of life where I want to be. So I'm thinking, what can I do? So okay, and this is perfect timing. It was 1st of October 2020, and there's 3 months left in it. October, November, December, and I think, 90 days. Let's do a 90 days transformation challenge. So for the rest of the 90 days, I have to work on my spirit, physicality, mentally, my mental side, and my emotions. Now, what can I do in each of those areas to improve them? And this is when I really went hard in affirmations, reading my book, working out, meditating, what else, eating 3 times a day, meal prep. And then I thought, now I'm 2021, I thought, should I go back and do that? But those traits and those habits are so set. I'll do them every day. What can I do this year? And this year, I didn't do anything. This year, I focused on more of my goals for the year, because I always debate with myself, what is the most appropriate thing to do? Is it to go back and do stuff you used to do, or continue moving forward, or just do what you're doing? And it's a tough one to really decide sometimes. Of course, it always depends on the scenario, but you having done something should prepare you for what's to come next. You learning 1 + 1 prepares you to understand what's 1 + 2. And if we're forever going back to 1 + 1 and not moving to 8 times 12, for example, if we're not making this jump, we'll never grow and continue to learn more or see what else life has for us. So I didn't go back to my 90-day transformation challenge. I decided just to make this 3 months, the last 3 months of the year, push the hardest I've ever done to achieve my goals. That's what I focused on. That's what I said to myself. Because there's something about when you know the year's about to end, you can this is the time, just give it all you can before the new year, before the Christmas, holiday break, essentially. There's something about just pushing and giving it your all. In the UK, when the sun goes down a lot quicker, so the days are shorter, and it's night, or it seems like it's nighttime forever. I really advise you to try it. The last 3 months of the year in 2022, go your hardest with your work. Whether you go to work as hard as you can. Whether you go to university, read books beyond what you've been taught to read. We're told to read. Or if you're in high school, same thing. More about that subject. Do ask for extra work. Because when you step into the new year, essentially this new person who's been doing stuff for 90 days. So there's this rule of thumb where it's 21 days to create a habit and 90 days to create a lifestyle. So you've created this new lifestyle for yourself, and you'll be going to this new year with that lifestyle. How profound will your year be with you being that way? Think about it. So when October goes through, and then as I said, I was working hard, and I really pushed my social media, and I said, I've got all this content on YouTube, and I'm trying to get my people to go onto YouTube and Instagram, just put my message anywhere and everywhere. So I started to work on my social media, getting my YouTube content for Instagram, making Instagram, so it fits the Instagram feed, as in resizing the videos, making them shorter, punchier, getting the key elements of each video. I'm learning more about just the ways to improve my social media. Then I'm on to meal prep, having meal prep as I'm a university student and doing all this social media and trying to create a career. It's the quickest and efficient. Well, it's not the quickest. A meal prep one day, it would approximately take 7 hours to cook for 1 week, which is worth it in the end. You allocate your day. Okay, Sunday, gonna cook breakfast, lunch, dinner for this whole week, and we do that every single week. Essentially saves money, and it is more cost efficient, and you don't have to worry about food. I love this thing where I try to do as less thinking as possible on the minuscule things, such as eating. If I know I've got my lunch, breakfast, and dinner in the fridge, I just have to warm it up. That's sorted. Same thing with clothes, but the problem thing with clothes, because I like my fashion, I like to dress good. I like to be intentional every single day with it. So I need to work on that one. But I need to find a method or system which could possibly be just picking the day, wearing the clothes, and pick the outfit the day before. Some simple stuff like that. But being what is it? Making your mind think less about these minuscule things means you can focus more on the bigger tasks of that day. Working, being doing the tasks you just have planned for that day makes it even easier because you put more energy, more effort into it, and what happens? You do better. You create better. So that happened. We're going through October, doing my social media, meeting a guy in the industry, of the film industry, comes into university, which is interesting. And I was also making adjustments to earning media. And with this, I was recording myself for this onboarding process. So I would make videos to explain to the clients. And I remember very frustrated with how I was unable to say what I was meant to say. It just wouldn't come to me. I took about 50 takes. And I said to myself, just breathe, relax, take your time, take a break if you need to, and come back when you're ready. Which I done. I just took some time, had some water, walked up and down the room to just do something else other than think about what I was doing, and then came back to it, and I done it. But then that whole process, as I said, as I've been saying, was that a sign to say this ain't it? This isn't it? This isn't how it's meant to be? And I would question that. Because I know each and every process you do in life is not going to be easy. It's not going to be a smooth sailing. There'll be trials and times where it'll be like this, like, oh man, I'm doing this. I just can't say I can't do it, whatever it may be. You have those moments, those thoughts. But if it's constant and you feel as if you're for something else other than this task or this job you're doing, is that not a sign? And I thought about it. As I said earlier, I keep repeating myself because of the significance of it. I was too comfortable and too at one with just, this is it, this must be, I can't be anything else. When, matter of fact, it can be. No matter what. Really, no matter what. So I decided to learn more about social media through YouTube, about about the services for earning media. Trying to, uplift myself in that area. And then we're near the end of October. Then there's me and my girl's anniversary. And also this, yeah. This is interesting, right? I didn't post this on social media. I didn't do this. I just done this by myself. I bought AirPods Max and AirPod Pros. And I bought them. I don't know what I was doing that day. Let's see. 23rd. Okay, maybe. Well, this day I was actually doing research on the career I was going into. But then later on in the day, what time? 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I bought AirPod Pros and AirPod Max, one pair. And I went into Apple and I said, oh yeah, can I purchase AirPod Pros and AirPod Max? I'm like, okay, yeah. Both? I was like, yeah, could I get both please? I'm like, yeah, sure. Paid for it, got them, and I brought them home. I took a picture. And I was thinking, oh man, there's this idea we have in our heads. When we get it, that will be it. And so I said to myself, buy it, Joe, and see what it's like if you're about to buy it. So I bought it, and at first I was like, whoa, AirPod, going crazy in my head, like, wow, you just bought this. This is crazy. I bought them, went home, tried them, and I'm like, oh, this is sick. This is cool. But then after 30 minutes of listening to music, trying them out, well, I had previously had AirPod Pros, so I knew what they were like. But the AirPod Max was the new thing, and the thing I had wanted. Well, I still want, but it's not a necessity. After having them for 30 minutes and, listening to music, doing what I was doing, I was like, this is just as any other device, any other method of listening to music. But it's the picture that's associated with having AirPod Maxes that gives them that upper hand on them being so great. And I've been trying to learn this about myself, about other people as well. What truly hypnotized or truly taken away by an object because of how it's perceived. Undertaking others' perception of it. But if I sat by myself and I said, Jerry, what these headphones, you know, if I no, as I sat with myself when I had these headphones, I looked at them and I held them. I was like, what does this add time to your life? Are these headphones going to change your life and make you become the successful person you want to be? I said no. So why did you regard them so highly and put them like up there in the list for you to purchase? And I said, truly, there's no definite answers. Just except I just want them. You know, they're just the AirPod Maxes, man. Like, come on. But what does that mean? What does that mean to you? What does that whole what? If you value having these items, you'll forever chase them. I was like, wow. Do I want to continuously chase having these items? Not really. So my question to you as well as myself is, when are you going to take ownership and begin to master yourself? I don't think there's an age or a barrier to doing this, because anything you say, I'm too young, or it's just not the right time, you know, just want to live my life, just want to be free. It's an excuse. It's pushing yourself further away from not through self-mastery, through knowing yourself better, through prohibiting yourself from purchasing things or doing things, isn't to hide you from certain things. It doesn't mean you won't be experiencing things. It doesn't mean you won't be experiencing things. It protects you. It prepares you for the greater good that you deserve. And these AirPods Pros, these iPhones, all these materialistic goods, all these things that are deemed worthy. Isn't it funny how we drop them on the floor, they crack? You can't do that with a memory. You can't do that with a book that's going to help you. It's really about, what do you value? £550 those headphones cost. I bought them, I sat there, I looked at them. And after playing with them, after letting that excitement die down, I realized they're not worth it. They were not worth the money. They weren't worth the hype, the image I portrayed in my head. And it makes me question, is anything I work for worth it? Is anything I do, social media wise, business wise, going to university, is it truly worth it? Is this image I have in my head that I'll be here if I do this, will that come to pass? Is that going to be fulfilling enough for me? I question myself on this, because through learning about the mind, through learning about the mind and achieving your goals, you're told to visualize you in that place. Visualize the feelings and the thoughts you'll be having. Visualize you working towards those goals. Visualize. And then you get there. And is anything as it seems? Like, truly, is anything as it seems? I don't know. I think yeah. What God's just told me now is, if it's made for you, yes, it is. The stuff that meant to fulfill you and meant to give you life will give you life. But those things that are just here for use, for like the headphones, like our phones, like all these cars, they're just here for our human body to use, and human desire to be like, oh, I want this new thing, I want the best thing. That's all it's there for. That's one thing you have to remember. Hold dear to your heart. So if you do purchase them, or if you do want something and feel as if it will take you to, it will bring you this goodness that's in your head, remember, it's nothing more than just feeding the human within us. So I'm not saying it's bad, I'm not saying it's good. It's mandatory. Otherwise, we'll probably become alone, depressed, and upset that others have this, others have that. Now, let me go and get that, let me go and get this. But do it with reason. That's what it's about. Reason and intention. Two powerful words as well. How intentional have you been this whole year? Have you done stuff intentionally to get you where you are currently? Have you thought about doing stuff a certain way to get you where you are? Have you thought, okay, this will get me this? Intentional. Minuscule, being so fine with how you spend your money, where you spend your money, if you spend money at all. Being fine, so fine with how you dress, as I've said earlier. Have you been like that? So I then actually returned both the AirPods and the AirPod Pros and the AirPod Maxes, because I just wanted to feel what it felt like. I just wanted to question, is this really worth it? I think, as I said earlier in this talk, there's a time and place for these things, and a time and place where I'm when I feel less there'll be a time and place when I can purchase these and possibly, without question, is this going to benefit my life, and purchase them without, is it the worry or the just purchase them. As I think about it, there'll be a time and place where I'll purchase them again, because I like my audio quality. I like Apple products, but not now. Not yet. So then October goes through. We're nearing the end of October. And October, learning more about the career I want to go into, learning more about mine, learning more about grooming, how to grow a beard, so on and so forth. Just continually learning throughout the year. That's crazy. And then in November, and what happened in November? November was another year of me, another month for me to learn deeper into this small idea I had in my head. Oh, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? So what I do, as I've done with earning media, implementing those ideas and those strategies here in this new career, and it brought me fortune, you could say. It brought me network, it brought me people. And November was a good year. Good month. Goodness gracious. continue in November, now mid-November. Then as I was broadening my network in this field I'm going into, also learn about social media, new strategies I'm going to implement, new methods to just grow. You're continuously growing. And then mid-November, I begin to take pictures again, outfit pictures, as I used to back in the day. And that's something I think about. As I said earlier, you know what? I'll be real and I'll be honest. Back, when was it? It was 2019, 2018. Those 2 years on my social media, I would post a lot of outfit pictures, fashion pictures, That was the thing I was known for. That was the thing I would do. That was the thing I was good at. But then I began this self-development, this personal mindset. And I went into what I felt I should begin talking about this. I remember the first book I read, Zig Ziglar, How to Stay Motivated. I said to myself after reading that book, Zig Ziglar's How to Stay Motivated, I said, people got to know about this. This is incredible information. I got to get this out here. I need to learn more. So I do that. But one thing I've struggled to see and understand is, should I let go of being known as this fashion guy with good sense of fashion, and be this mindset person, or should I do both and somehow blend both? And like speaking to you right now about it, I feel as if trying to do both, we'll see how it goes. It's always about trial and error. If it doesn't work doing both, one's got to go, unfortunately. Where that would take me in my life, I don't know. But if I don't try something, if I don't try one without one, I'll see where it goes. So I say to you, if you feel as if you want to stop something, if you feel as if you don't want to do anything, you don't want to do one thing and want to do something else, try it. If you don't like it, go back. Always trial and error, always testing and refining who you are, who you want to be, what you want to be doing. That's what this game of life is. Then we're going through November, sorry. Nearing the end of November. Going through it. Continue social media, finding new methods, taking the pictures. Going to the library, university library for the first time after 2 years. After a year of being in uni, went to the library for the first time, utilized it, the resources you have. That's a new thing. It's another thing I learned this year. You can implement into your life. And then, end of November, I shut down earning media. Finally. There's premonitions of, the struggle being too hard. This is not fulfilling me. It's not really what I'm meant to do. I said to myself, it's not coincidental. This doesn't make sense for you to have been doing this for years to not get a single client. If it's made for you, the fruits, the journey would have been a lot easier. Would have been more. You would have been more able. That's what I told myself. That's what I accepted. I closed it. But I closed it knowing that the stuff I had learned to build a business, to scale it, whatever it may be, I can always implement that in areas of my life. And that's the beautiful thing about learning, continually learning about anything. there's always a way to implement it in another area of your life. So no matter what it is, if what you learn, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's by a course, whether it's at university, you can always implement it in another area of your life. And that's powerful. Because then you go through life learning new things, doing better things, going further, because you've just got all this knowledge, all this experience from all these areas of your life. And they just stack on one another. Growing stronger, bigger. So I shut it down. And then the same time in November, I began my mini vlogs. There's this thing I used to do on my Snapchat where I would record like 1 second, 2 seconds of an activity during the day. So if I was on the train, I would record out the window. If I was eating my breakfast, I would record the food. Just stuff like that. Just 1 to 2 second video. What's happening? So yeah, doing those videos, I started to create videos of my day, but in the same method of showing 1 to 3 seconds of an activity. So I'll show a video of me cooking for 1 to 2 seconds, then cut that to me in the shower, then cut that to me changing, and so on and so forth. And I find it funny and I enjoy it just as much. Has that ever happened to you? Yeah, has that ever happened to you? Has there ever been a time where you stop doing something and then something it comes into your life? It fascinates me what we do, but in a new way. It's truly as if that thing is made for us, so that's what we should be doing. So going through now the end of November, creating these new videos. Continuously learning, as I said. But this career I'm going into, I got a speech coach, as well as on top of that. In the end of November, nothing really else happened except creating these videos and trying to implement them in my life. This new thing I'm doing, recording everything I do, and then editing it, and then bringing a song, It's all stuff I've edited before on my phone. I've created videos, now just bring it all together in an entertaining, relaxing, interesting way. And I liked it. I like the challenge. I like showing what I do, proving that I do. Not proving, just showing what I do to you. For you to be like, oh, when I try this, when I do that, it's a nice video to watch. Then when December, where we are currently, in December, went to my church's end of year pantomime with my girl called The Wonder at Soul Church. Incredible church. Incredible production as well. And then I'm planning more about this career, getting deeper because it's about to be announced. And then also, this month is, I like what I said in October. December is the time to go even further and harder and more. As much as you can, I should say. Not to the point where you're completely exhausted and gone, but December's a time where you prove you really, really show what you're capable of, what you can achieve in the span of 31 days. I've always looked at it like that, and once again, I like starting it I like how I prepare my mind for that in October. Stepping into the new year is refreshing. Because you can take almost a little break in January to prepare yourself for this new year, to get your plans, to get your goals, to get, a perspective of how 2020 feels for you. the next year feels for you, whatever that may be. So what I done in December, I begin to just think about this year. What has this year offered? What have I learned? What have I not done? What have I done? And why? I begin to think about things I faced, things that I wish I could have completed, things I wish I could have seen, but with the pandemic and coronavirus, that was limited, of course. But those are the type of questions I ask myself to review this year. So I ask you to do the same. And once you've got an idea and an understanding, what's happening next year? Who are you going to be next year? Where are you going to go next year? What are your plans? Roughly, like, what are your goals? I always make a top 3 goals. That's it. Purely 3 goals to achieve that year. What are those going to be? Could be making a certain amount of money. Could be getting a car, attaining something. It could be achieving something. It could be what else? Saving a certain amount of money. There's so many goals you can choose. But choose a goal that aligns to what you want to do in your life. Where you want to be working or what business you want to create. Choose stuff that is a challenge, but not to the extent where it becomes too laborious that you just end up giving up. There's this thing called a flow state where you're challenged, but you're also a flow state is when you're working, but it doesn't feel like you're working. You're just in the zone, also known as the zone, where the work is so effortless and so seamless that you could do it for hours and hours upon end. That's where you want to be daily with taking action towards your goals. So what can get you how much do you have to do, or how little do you have to do to be there daily? And what in you doing that daily, what will be the big outcome at the end of the year? Plan it, figure it out. It's always best to start back to front, actually. I want £1 million. Okay, that's £256 a day. How are you going to make £256 a day? What work you have to do every single day to make it? Of course, for maybe the whole first month, you're not going to make £256 a day. You may not even make anything for the first 3 months, but you're learning how to get there. So what do you have to learn, and how much can you learn per day in order to get that £1 million at the end of the year? If you don't get the £1 million, this is the beautiful thing about setting goals and going for them no matter what. Even if you don't make it to the end, even if you don't achieve it, you've gone so much further than you ever would if you had never taken your first step. And isn't that profound? You've overcome adversity, you've overcome self-doubt, you've overcome what possibly friends and family said you never could do. And look, and you're still ahead of other people who say, oh yeah, I'm pushing that goal back to next year, missing out on this year. This year's over for me. You're ahead of them, you're beyond that. You're in a different space and place. So, and that's one thing I had to remember looking back at this year. I didn't achieve all of my goals, but still, I learned the process to get closer to those goals. I went for them, tried to get them, I moved as much as I could, and that's all I could do. Next year, we set bigger things. Well, next year, we set bigger, better things, because I'm now more aligned to what I want, truly. Maybe there's always a reason for everything. Maybe there's a reason I didn't achieve all my goals. Time and place. As I said, time and place. So at the beginning or midway through December, we're planning 2022. The vision, how it's going to look, what we want, what we don't want, what we want, what's going to happen, I should say. Continuing the videos and mini vlog videos. And also working. Especially in these last 2 weeks that I'm recording this. Last 2 weeks of the year. This is the last opportunity I have to make my goals happen. This is the last opportunity I have to give my all in 2021 to prepare me for 2022. This is the last time that I'll be able to do all I can. This is the last time I have to do what I said I'm going to do in 2021. But what does that mean for you? What does having you been gone through 2021? What has 2021 taught you? To wear a mask? To social distance? Is that it? Or is there more to it? I've been talking for I don't know how long this video is. I know it's a long time. But this talk has just been about my year. And things I've learned to help you figure out yourself more, figure out what has happened in your year. Things you've learned, things that happened, things that didn't happen. I'm sure a lot more happened in this year that I have missed out, but I will now reflect this and bring this on to you. After hearing about me and my story, what are you going to do? Are you going to revise your year, look at your photos, look at your journal if you have a journal, your vision board? Or what are you going to do now? What is your plan now that the year's over? What is your plan for the new year? Ask yourself these questions. Talk to yourself. Spend time with yourself just to reflect on who you are, who you've become. If you've changed physically, if you changed mentally. And prepare for the new year. And that's it. Oh man. What a video. Next year, I don't know what we're going to do. I'm just going to keep talking next year. Should I do this more regularly? That'll be interesting. Every month, a month recap. End of month recap, I should call it. But no, I possibly may keep it to every end of the year. Just to, talk about it all. No matter how long it may be. Next year might be 5 hours long. I'll be more developed, bigger mind, more knowledge that these conversations might go on for 5-6 hours. I do apologize. I don't apologize actually, because there's value in these. It's not as if I'm talking absolute rubbish and not giving you any advice. Of course, there's bits of that in there because we're just talking. But I hope you did see value in this. I hope you will go somewhere with this information. I thank you for listening, taking the time to listen to this. And if you're at this stage right now, listen to this now. I know for a fact that you're very purposeful, you're very intentional, and you're very prepared to do whatever it takes to achieve what you want. You want more, and you will certainly get more. I know, I can feel that, I can sense that about you if you're truly listening right now to this. Because many people would have cut off ages ago. I'm sure many other people have just watched half of it or maybe a quarter of it. But you listening right now, there's a reason you're still here. You see yourself in me. And I'm pulling that self out of you to do more, to be better, to go further than you ever have. That's what I require from you. That's what I ask of you. Demand of yourself persistent, continuous work until until attainment, as Napoleon Hill would say. Continuously, persistently work until you achieve what you have to achieve. Through every negative thought, through every victory, go for it and go further than it after you've got it. You can do this. I believe in you. I'm rooting for you. I may not know you, but in spirit, you can do this. Thank you for listening, I should say. My name is JerryKanchefu. I hope you have a good day, morning, night, or evening. And prepare for the next video that comes after this, immediately after this. Thought it was going to be a big one. A really big one. Thank you for listening once more. I'll see you soon.